Cathie Wood just made some bold predictions about the future of AI, and it's not what most investors are focused on right now. This one's a gem. Check it out.
Cathie Wood joins me live now around the desk here at FII in Saudi Arabia. Cathie, great to have you on the program. Welcome to Squawk Box.
Thank you, Dan. I'm thrilled to be here.
So, Cathie, let's talk about what we're seeing in the markets right now, because I want your reaction first and foremost to this surge that we've seen in Qualcomm. It's going to be taking on the likes of NVIDIA and AMD. Your thesis is innovation. Do you welcome that pop? Is it just getting started? Where is it going from here?
Yes, I know a lot of people are worried about all the AI hype. But as we're looking to the future, especially with embodied AI, which is all about robotaxis and transforming the world of transportation completely, and then healthcare, which is probably one of the most profound applications of AI, we think that this investment will pay off. And I think the chaser is going to be humanoid robots. And I think that is going to be the biggest of all the embodied AI opportunities.
Well, Cathie, the concern in the market right now is that the pace of innovation doesn't necessarily justify the premiums that we're seeing for some of these names. How would you respond to that?
Yes, well, if we're right and the growth continues to accelerate in this space, we think that the the valuations will make sense longer term. So you really do have to have a longer term time horizon, which we do. We have a 5-year investment time horizon. I'm not saying there will never be any corrections. Of course there will, as many people worry, okay, is this too much too soon? But if our expectations for AI, especially embodied AI in the way that I just described, are correct, we are at the very beginning of, a technology revolution.
Is AI in a bubble right now?
I do not believe AI is in a bubble. What I do think is, on the enterprise side, it is going to take a while for large corporations to prepare themselves to transform. It's going to take a company like Palantir going into the largest enterprises and really restructuring them in order to really capitalize on the productivity gains that we think are going to be unleashed by AI. In the consumer space, the consumer loves all of this, and I think we're all looking forward to our personal assistants doing our shopping for us. Well, I am. As I talk to people around the world, some people love shopping, so they may not. But I am really excited about not just shopping, but how much my productivity as an individual is going to increase with AI. It already has in terms of research.
Let's just stress test this point, because you said that AI is not in a bubble, but you also flagged that there could be a correction risk. What's the timeline on that correction then, if you were to gaze into your crystal ball?
I think we're going to reach a moment in the next year where the conversation will shift from lower interest rates to rising rates, but it will be for a good reason. We think that the economy, the US and the rest of the world, of course, will participate, is going to move into a productivity-driven boom, just in time for our midterm elections. So I think when interest rates reverse, there will be a shudder, because there are a lot of people out there, and we saw this during COVID and its aftermath, who think that innovation and interest rates are inversely correlated. That is not true over history. Even in 2017, when interest rates went up, we had phenomenal performance. So I want to disabuse people of that notion, but nonetheless, the way algorithms work these days, we think that there will be a reality check, shall we say.
A reality check. Okay, so if we do come into this higher rate environment, as you're suggesting, then how should investors be thinking about allocating in the innovation space? Of course, we look at ARK up more than 50% YTD. Talk to me about some of the allocations you're making right now and this big bet on the future. Ultimately, what's going to pay off?
Well, one of the things we have focused on consistently is, really, this is going to sound almost silly, but we're focused on the future, and pure plays in the innovation space around robotics, energy storage, AI, blockchain technology, and especially multi-omic sequencing in the healthcare space. I think that's the most underestimated and underappreciated. So those are our 5 main areas. They involve 15 technologies, and we think they're converging to create really explosive growth opportunities.
What do you think has changed in the market that is rewarding your strategy again? Because I also think it's fair to say, since our last conversation in Abu Dhabi a couple of years ago, you've been through a pretty rough patch, right?
Yes, we went through a very rough patch. And in fact, during the 4 years prior to this administration, we were facing increasing regulation, a massive increase in interest rates, supply chain shocks, all of which impacted unit growth. And unit growth really drives innovation. The faster units grow, the faster costs decline. And so we're through that. And more important, in this administration, we have with OB3, the One Big Beautiful Bill, massive tax changes that are going to take the effective corporate tax rate in the United States down to what we believe is 10%. Statutory will still be 21%, but with the accelerated depreciation, massive accelerated depreciation in manufacturing structures, equipment, domestic R&D, and software, we think that that is going to turbocharge innovation in a way that people do not appreciate right now. And that is one of the reasons we do believe we're moving into next year. We'll see this idea of a productivity-led boom in activity.
Cathie doesn't think AI is in a bubble. She thinks enterprises are actually too slow to figure out how to properly use it. Cathie specifically mentions that companies like Palantir need to go into large corporations and restructure them to unlock AI's full productivity gains. This is one of the most important parts of the AI bubble debate. The technology works. The problem is that most companies have no idea how to implement it. They're still running on systems from decades ago. Their data is a mess. Their processes are outdated. You can't just plug AI into that and expect magic. Cathie understands this better than most investors. She's not worried about AI being overhyped. She's worried about companies being too slow to adapt. That's why she keeps mentioning Palantir in interviews. They're one of the few companies actually solving the implementation problem instead of just selling software. Bank of America reported that their own workforce uses AI tools across departments, and they've seen efficiency gains exceeding 20% in software development and client services. That's a large, real company making some very impressive results. That's not some random startup making promises. The gap between AI's potential and current enterprise adoption is massive. This is the opportunity. Companies that figure out implementation first will dominate their industries. The ones that wait will fall behind permanently. Cathie sees the consumer side moving fast because consumers don't need restructuring. You just download an app and start using it. But enterprise have layers of bureaucracy and legacy systems. That's the bottleneck. Once that breaks, the productivity explosion has the potential to be enormous. But Cathie's real conviction isn't about enterprise software at all. Cathie thinks humanoid robots will be bigger than self-driving cars and healthcare AI combined. That is one hefty prediction. Cathie is specifically calling humanoid robots the biggest opportunity in embodied AI. Morgan Stanley recently projected the humanoid robot could hit $4 trillion in the US alone. The global market potential across industrial, service, and home applications is expected to exceed tens of trillions of dollars. Cathie's focused on AI that could do physical work. Every single job that requires a human body could eventually be done by a robot. Manufacturing, warehousing, elderly care, retail, restaurants, the market is almost every job that exists. Current humanoid robots can cost over $100,000 each, but as production scales up, prices will drop, and that will be dramatic. That's the exact pattern we've seen with technology time in and time again. They start expensive, benefit from economies of scale, then before you know it, everyone has one. In addition, Trump's administration created a special AI crypto czar position, which David Sachs has been operating in, and in my opinion, he's done a really great job. He's pushing massive deregulation to accelerate AI development in America. Cathie mentioned this directly. She sees the policy environment shifting towards innovation instead of restriction. That matters because regulators have been one of the biggest blocks to robotic companies. Now those blocks are being removed. The timing lines up perfectly. Technology is ready, costs are dropping, government is supportive. Companies like Tesla are expecting to be building thousands of units within a year. Industry analysts compare where humanoid robots are now with where ChatGPT was right before it exploded. That moment, right before mass adoption. Cathie's betting her career on being right about these technologies and when they break out. This is her next big call, and if she's right, they'll reshape the entire labor market.
One of our clients started with 0 audience. Now they're doing $100,000 months thanks to YouTube. And they're not alone. We've helped 3 businesses hit that level just by growing them a YouTube channel. Want to see how this could work for your business? Book a call with me below.